Hello everyone, good morning. Hello, Rajshekar, am I audible? Sitaram?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, we'll start this session. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session. Let me quickly share my screen. So welcome to the demo session on generative AI and agentic AI. My name is Sitaram and I'll be the instructor for today. What we are going to do here in today's session is we are going to spend close to 1 hour and we'll have a demo on how to do a simple basic generative AI application quickly without wasting time. We generally spend sessions in such a way that we get into the coding. Today's session is also hands-on coding session where we will build a simple application using generative AI and large language models. Sometimes it might feel that you are unaware about what are the tools and what are the services which we are using. But don't worry. As we go deeper in the course, we will understand what we are trying to do. So without any further ado, let us get into the session. We will spend close to 45 minutes to 1 hour, but during that we'll take couple of breaks in which I would like to ask if you guys have any questions. But in between, if you have any questions, put them in the chat window. I'll be able to see the chat window and I can answer all your questions as and when they feel relevant. So first things first, what we'll do is we'll go and use one tool called as Ollama. What we're going to do today is I want to run a local LLM and then I want to create a simple application. That's the target for today. The why doing local LLMs is many a times it depends that where you need more secured environment for enterprises. So that will ensure us to run local LLMs. We call them as small language models. So first things first, we go to something called as Ollama. I say Ollama. Click on Ollama. It will take you to the Ollama's website. The website is https://ollama.com. So once I click that, it will take you to the Ollama's website. Now, what is Ollama? It is the place where you have all the open source models available for download and use. Ollama also provides a library which will help us to interact with these open source models. Now, it has also provided extensions to OpenClaw, Claude Code, and other kind of agentic tooling so that you can integrate with Claude Code and write your programs accordingly. So as you see, this is how it says. There is on the right side, there is the download option. I have to click on the download option. And depending upon your OS, whether it is Mac OS, Linux, or Windows, you will be able to see a download button. Here I'm seeing a download button for Windows because I'm running on Windows. I'll go and download this, click on this download for Windows button, and that will download this Ollama package for me. The Ollama package is roughly around 1.2 GB or 1.5 GB. It will take some time for download. I've already downloaded and installed it, so I'm not going to do it again. But for you, you can just click on the download and that will help you to help you to run this. Right. So there are some questions. I will answer them as and when they are relevant. Right. So once I download this package, it will download as an executable. And as you install any other library, you could double click it and it will open up an installation widget. And you have to complete the entire installation process
on the remote car of renewal.
in a regular way. And that will install Ollama on your machine. Now, once the Ollama is installed, how do I verify whether it is installed on my machine? If you're on Windows, on the right side of your taskbar, you should see a notification tray in which you will see the Ollama icon. So what is the Ollama icon? Here, if you see, this is a small little llama. This is the Ollama icon. You will be able to see like the small little icon on the right side with a small blue color dot, which says that Ollama is running on your machine. If you are on Mac, then you will see the same color, same type of icon on the top right corner. You will see a small little icon like Ollama with a blue button, blue tick, which shows that it is installed. Some other way to confirm your Ollama is running or not is you open up your command prompt and you say Ollama. You write this small command, Ollama, and that will show some information like this: Ollama flags, Ollama command, serve, create, show, and so on. If you see all this information coming up, then it will be confirmation that Ollama is running. So how much technical knowledge is required for this course? It will expect that you know a little bit about programming. If you are already familiar with Java or any other programming in the past, you should be able to understand this course. The entire course will be done using Python. And Python, believe me, is a very simple to learn language. It is not very complicated. If you're familiar with programming, you should be able to easily pick up. So once I confirm the Ollama, so till now what we have done is we went into this website called as ollama.com. I downloaded Ollama library and then installed Ollama library and confirmed that using the command Ollama on my command line prompt, and you should see something like this. So once I have installed Ollama, then I might have to go and install some of the models. These are the models which are open source models, freely available. These are the models like OpenAI based models, Anthropic based models, Gemini based models, but the open source versions of them. There is this tab called as models. If I click on the models, it will show what are the latest models which are available. So Gemma 4 is the model available, Nemotran, which is the NVIDIA model available, Minimax M2.7, Qwen 3.5, which is the model from Alibaba. There are very, very powerful models. So let me show you the Qwen 3.5 model. If I click on this model, which says that this is the Qwen 3.5 model is a family of open source multi-model that delivers exceptional utility and performance. There are variants of models. If you scroll down, these are the different models. When you see a latest tag, this is the default model. If I say Qwen 3.5, by default, a 9 billion parameter model will be invoked, which will take a memory size of 6.6 GB. So depending upon your memory, your machine's memory, you can use one of these models. If at all your memory is only 8 GB, then probably you could use the 3.4 GB space, which is the Qwen 3 4 billion parameter model, Qwen 3.5 4 billion parameter model. And even if you have smaller memories, you can also go through the Qwen 3.5 0.8 billion parameter model, which will only take 1 GB of space. Now, what these models will do is they will help us to do a lot of powerful coding. Now, Qwen 3.5 is a multi-model. It is a thinking model. It can do thinking, it can do coding, it can do another task, planning, and all that stuff. All those things, both text and image processing, can be done with this model. It is a very powerful model, but there are multiple variants of it. If you go for a smaller size, the capabilities will reduce. But if you go for the bigger size models, you see we also have a model which is 81 GB, the 122 billion parameter model. This is a very, very powerful model. Now, what is this model? This likewise, the Qwen model is there. We can have other models. So if at all I want to run one of these models, so you see it is last updated 2 days ago. So whatever we are learning is latest and the greatest, right? So it's not like Ashoka built trees and all that stuff. We are not going to learn about what is, older things. We're going to learn about very, very latest thing. So like Qwen models, we have other models. The latest one, Gemma 4 has released. Gemma is the open source model from Google. The closed source model from Google is Gemini. Similarly, the open source model is Gemma, and Gemma 4 version is released. And if I can scroll down, the latest Gemma 4 model is around 9.6 GB. And believe me, this will be very, very powerful model because I've been using Gemma 3 for a long time and it is very powerful. Even if you don't want to go with the 9.6 GB model, you can go with the lower version, which is 7.2 GB. But for running a 7.2 GB model, you should at least have a 12 gig machine or at least a 16 gig machine. That only then it will work perfectly. Now you can say that I don't have such big machines. I wanted to take a smaller machine. Then what I can do is I can search Gemma 3. Gemma 3. If I search Gemma 3. So this is the Gemma 3 updated 3 months ago. If you see, it will provide a smaller models. Gemma 3 4 billion parameter model is around 3.3 GB. And the 1 billion parameter model is much smaller, but it's very capable. It is just 815 megabytes. All right, so I am convinced that, okay, we will use one of the smaller models so that my machine will not throttle, it will not give any problems, it will not go out of memory, and I will be able to run this model on my local. Now, once I selected one of the model which is capable for running on my machine, then the next thing is how do you run this model? There is a small little command, Ollama run and the model name. So once you say Ollama run and the model name, here the model name is Gemma 3:1b. A small copy icon is there. I copy this and then I come back to my command line and I say Ollama run and the name of the model, Ollama run Gemma 3:1b. So once I do this, what happens is if this model is not available on my machine, it will download the model for the first time. So it will download the entire manifest for the first time. But if the model is already available, within a second, it will open up a command prompt. As you see, it is asking me to send a message. So I can send a message. I can say, hi. I just say hi. And it is responding quickly saying that, hi, how is your day going so far? Is there anything which you would like to talk to me, right? Something like that. And I say, I'll ask, who are you? You're asking a great question. I'm a large language model created by Gemma team at Google DeepMind. So it is responding saying that I could do all these things. Can you write poems? As you see, I'm talking to it. And then I asked, like, can you write poems? It says, yes, absolutely. Here is a poem for you. A gentle rain. The sky emitted his hazy gray and all that stuff. So it has written a poem for me. Can you tell me a joke? So I'm asking, can you tell me a joke? It says, why don't data scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. This is much better. So this is a question. So this is a joke. Why don't data scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. That's the joke. It's a two-line joke. It's a nerdy joke, but works, right? Now I can ask any other question, like, can you write a Python program to add two numbers? Yeah, I'm asking a simple Python code. So as you see, it's writing me Python code. All right, so it's also giving an explanation and how to save the code, what to write it code. So as you're seeing, there are these asterisks and hashes and other things. This is called as a markdown script. It is a markdown output, which will give, if you display it in a regular output terminal, it will be much more polished. It will give like as headings, bullet, subheadings, and so on. I'll show you with a UI, like how this really look. But if you see these double asterisks, and as you see, this one is a bulleted. If you see asterisk explanation asterisk, this is more like a format in which it will bold this entire line. Are you guys following so far? So far, so good. What we did, we downloaded Ollama. We ran Ollama on my command line using a command called as Ollama run and the name of the model. And I was able to invoke this, and I'm asking questions, and it is working. Are you guys following? If you are following, can I get a yes on the chat window? So we spend like 10 minutes, and we are able to spin something on my local machine. And this is possible for everybody because it is only an 815 megabyte model. It is a very capable model. You will be able to run it on our local. Now you might ask, like, Sitaram, what's the fun in this? Because ChatGPT is doing this, and I can ask the same question to ChatGPT and it will respond. But why would I need to run a local model? Why would I need to run a lower grade model and all that stuff? Because now we are in a particular state. We are in an influx of usage of large language models and heavy usage of large language model for lot of things. What we are seeing in enterprise is that people are spending so much money, and the value outcome of that is very minimal. So there is a push from the enterprises, from the industry, is that can we come to a state where we identify the use cases and the ones which will need frontier models where we pay. For example, I call OpenAI model, the GPT 5.2 and other ones, where I will pay. I will call an Anthropic model, Anthropic Claude models, Claude Sonnet, Claude Haiku, or Claude Opus 4.7 models. Then I will pay for those models. So instead of me paying for those models, is there a way I can run models which are cost effective and then provide all this information, right? So that is what we are going to do. I'll summarize the course content at the end of today's session, but kindly bear with me so that we actually do the important demo, and then we will work on the course content, right? So so far so good. I think we are able to run with this understanding. You will be able to run a local model on your machine, and then you could do a lot of things. Now, can we switch gears and then go to the next phase in which I will be able to run this model using a program? Because running this on a command line, like on my command line prompt, is not very fancy. I would like to run it programmatically. So for that, I've written a small code. And for that, I'll be using something called as Visual Studio Code. VS Code is an IDE I am using VS Code, but there is no requirement that you have to use the same IDE. You can use any other IDE which you may like. But VS Code is an IDE which will help us to execute Python code. And the Python code which I am showing here is something called as written in IPython notebook. It is a Jupyter notebook in which you can write and experiment a lot of Python code. So you don't have to execute the entire code at once. You will have these cells in which you can experiment the code. We will have detailed sessions on, how to create this and how to write this and so on. But for now, just sit back, relax, and see what's happening. So first things first, I will select my Python environment. Here you have something called a select kernel. I will be able to select the Python environment. I have multiple environments on my machine. I'll select the Python 3.13 version because you see this yellow color things, which says that your Python is not having the libraries installed. Now, once I selected Python 3.13, I have already these libraries installed, and that's the reason you don't see the yellow thing now because it has resolved these libraries. You have to install these libraries, and the way you install the libraries is using a pip command. I can write the pip command. You have to say pip install Ollama radio, and likewise you have to do this pip install, and that will help to install the libraries, these libraries. So we are using three libraries here. One is the IPython library, which will help us to display the output in a much more meaningful way, much more readable manner. So we would use the markdown, which is the asterisks and the bullet points which I showed. That will be shown in a much more readable manner, and the display will help us to print the output. That's the first library. The second library is the Ollama library. And now we are using Ollama in code. So I can use this library to invoke the LLM and do the calling to the LLM, get the response from the LLM. So that is what is the second library. And the third library is a little UI library, which will help us to create a small little chatbot, right? Small little question answer chatbot, where I will be able to spin a UI completely within few minutes. All right, so these are the three libraries. I'll click on this play button, which will execute this code. It's saying annotation required. Let me restart it. Let's go. We close it. Sometimes it kicks up the logs. I'll open it up one more time. Kind of detecting the kernels. Select the kernel, Python environment. Now failed to start the kernel. Select another kernel. Just give me a second. I have to restart this. Pull up one more. Just give me a second. All right, so it's resolving the kernels right now. So we have IPython display and then Ollama and Gradio. If you see the stick button, that means that the kernels are resolved. And I do have a couple of models which are available in local, but I will be using the Gemma 3 1 billion parameter model, which we used in the command line prompt. So that's the model I will instantiate. And then I want to invoke the program. So for invoking the LLM, we need to provide two information. First one is the system prompt and the second one is the user prompt. While we use the ChatGPT and other ones, we just provide the user prompt, which is our query. You can just ask anything to the ChatGPT and it will give back the answer. But when you're programmatically invoking the LLMs, you need to provide two information. First one is the system prompt and second one is the user prompt. Now, what is the system prompt? It sets up the rules for the LLM. It sets up the boundary, it sets up the ground rules for the LLM. Here we are saying you are a helpful AI assistant, a simple way. But when you want to do even more complex coding, you could provide a lot of instructions, you could provide a lot of rules and guidelines for the LLM to work. So it will set up proper boundaries so that LLM do not hallucinate. So system prompt and the user prompt. User prompt is your question. Here I'm saying I wish to travel to USA, create a nice travel plan with a duration of 2 weeks. Make sure I visit all the popular places of US. So this is my query and I will provide these two prompts. These are the two prompts. And the way to invoke the model is using Ollama chat. I can say ollama.chat and I can give the model which I would like to invoke. Here we have instantiated the model to Gemma 3 1 billion parameter. And then there is a standard way in which you pass the messages. This is called as OpenAI standard, in which you can pass the messages which are the system prompts and the user prompts. In the system prompt, you're passing in this manner. You can say role is system and the content will be system prompt. Role is user and the content is user prompt. All right. So once you pass these messages, then and they pass the model, it will invoke the Ollama chat function and it will get the response. Once it gets the response, I can display the response in a markdown script. Response is available in the response of message of content. That is the place where the actual response is available. You have a lot of other information, but this is where your actual output would look like. Once I enter this, then this will take few seconds, 10 to 15 seconds, depending upon the LLM usage, and it will respond with a proper output. So far so good. What we are doing is we are programmatically invoking this LLM, and I'm going to get a response, a proper plan for a travel to US for a duration of 2 weeks. So it took like 30 seconds, a little more, but I'm getting a proper plan. This is iconic USA tour. Now you see this is a bullet. This is bold, and then you're getting the bold highlighted names like theme, duration, focus, budget, and other things. And here you are seeing bullets and sub-bullets. As you're seeing, those are the markdown scripts. Right, so first 1 to 3 days, it's taking us to New York City, 4 to 6, Washington, D.C., Nashville, Tennessee, then Grand Canyon, Los Angeles, and other places, right? So I think it is missing Las Vegas, but it's good that at least it has covered so many places, right? So as you see, it also provides potential variations and customization, provides the cost breakdown and resources and all that stuff. Understood what we have done? We have programmatically invoked this LLM rather than doing with a command line prompt. We have programmatically invoked the LLM and you are able to get the output. So if you look at this code is not very complex. It is if you are familiar with any programming, you should be able to understand this, that we are able to invoke the LLM and get the response. Now let us switch gears. We will switch gears and then we will add a little UI to this model. So for that, I will write a small function called as shout function. So what this function will do is if you give any text in a lowercase, it will convert into an uppercase. That's what this is doing, a small function shout. When you pass any text, it will convert the text to dot upper. It is converting into uppercase. Now, why I'm doing this? So this is how it works. So if I say shout hello, and it will convert that into capital hello. Now, why I'm doing this is because I wanted to try out the Gradio's interface. Gradio interface is where you can create a small little UI without any effort, and you can give input and you'll get output. So this is how the command will be. You could say gradio.interface. You can use the function whichever you are creating. Here we have created the shout function. It will have input and output. Input is given to the shout function, and the output will be coming out of the shout function. So input, you'll have a text box, output, you'll have a text box. And when I say launch, it launches the UI. So I run it, and this is the little UI. I can click on this local host, and you see this is how it works. I'll say wonderful, a small camel case, and you see the wonderful is coming in the capital letter. So what we are seeing here is a very small little function called a shout, and I expose the shout with a UI, and you are able to see that work like a magic. All right, but I'm not interested in this shout function. I like to use something with LLM. Then for that, what I could do is I can create another function called as message GPT. Now the Ollama call which we did, now I wrap it in a function called as message GPT, where I will pass the user prompt in the input, and that user prompt will be going to the message. And whatever is the response, whichever is coming from the Ollama.chat, I will respond as an output of your message GPT. All right, so that is good. So I can run this. Now I can run the Gradio interface. Now I do a little more coding. I am saying that now I will have input text box and output text box, but you will have a label for that, and you mention the number of lines, so it'll look much bigger, right? 6 lines for input, 8 lines for output, and this will launch another website. So here it's launching. I can click on this, and it will take a second for loading it. It's loading the website. If you see now, this is a little bit bigger boxes, 6 lines for input and around 8 lines for output. Now I can ask any question like, what is an LLM? Now, what is an LLM? This question is going to the Gemma model in the backend. It will take some time. So as you see, you are getting the time here, processing time, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. It might take 20 seconds, but let us see how much time it will take. So it took like 13 seconds or so on, and it is responding in a markdown script. So if I scroll up, it says, okay, let's break down what an LLM is. So LLM stands for large language model, and then it is giving a very nice information about what is an LLM. So far, so good. Are you guys following? We spent around 30 minutes now. And what we are able to see is I can write a program, I can invoke an LLM locally, and I can also create a UI from which I will be able to invoke the LLM. If you have any questions, so this is the time I'll just do a small break. If you have a questions, can you put that in the chat window so that I can answer if you guys have any questions so far. If you're following, please put yes, following us. Okay, good, go ahead, or something like that. so that I understand. Right? So far, so good, right? Wonderful. So wonderful. So we spent 30 minutes, and the value of 30 minutes, we are able to understand that I can run a LLM locally. I can use Ollama. I can run it with my command line. I can run it with a program, and I can spin up a UI. One thing which I am not liking is that it is taking more time, right? So it took like 13 seconds, 20 seconds. I have to wait for it. So I will add a little tweak to the LLM. So what I'll say is I want instantaneous output. So for that, I'll make this LLM as a stream GPT. So you are adding a system prompt, you are a helpful AI assistant which responds in Markdown. So you are saying you respond in Markdown, and then we are making the Ollama call, which was a plain vanilla call, that I'm making it into a streaming call. So what do you mean by streaming call? That means that the response will come as if like a real time. So once I hit enter, within a second or two, you will get the response flowing as and when the output is getting created. So for that, I need to make small changes in my call. I need to add this one single line, stream is equals to true, which will enable the output to be coming in a streaming fashion. So I say stream is equals to true. And then because stream is like not like a one single output answer, it comes in chunks. This one small chunk, second chunk, third chunk, and so on. So as and when the LLM is getting the answer, it passes the output chunks. So you need to iterate through the chunks and yield the chunk. So there is a one small little output code. In the previous, you're directly displaying the entire response, but now the response is not coming in a single manner. It is coming in chunks. So you have to iterate through the chunks and you need to yield that output. So this is a little Pythonic code which is helping us to print the output as and when it is coming. So I'll run this. This is basically a stream GPT, and now we will again run the Gradios interface. Now the function we are calling is stream GPT, and we will change the output also now. So here, instead of a text box, we are using the Gradios. GR is the shortcut of Gradios Markdown. So the output would also look in a Markdown script. Here, if you see, you're getting it in a Markdown output, but you're seeing all these asterisks and so on. But instead of that, I wanted to get in a nice Markdown output. So let me run this. And this is spinning up. Now, it has spinned up two URLs. One is the local URL, and this one is the fancy thing. I'll just copy this and paste it in your chat. So once I click this, the second one, it is opening up a web URL. It's loading, so it is having a question box on the right side. It is blank, but basically it will print a output. Now I can ask any question like, what is the capital of USA? So once I hit enter on the right side, it is going to give me the answer. So I have copied that link on your chat also. I want you guys to click that and then see if you are able to open it on your browser. Give a little thumbs up if you are able to open it in your browser, and also ask some question as if you are asking a ChatGPT. Can you also ask some question? You should be able to ask any question. For example, what is the recipe for biryani? Recipe. So once I submit on the right side, now because many of you guys might be hitting the URL, it might take a little time. because this is bombarded, so it's not auto-scaled, so it might take some time, but bear with me. But it will respond in a markdown in a nice script. If you guys, as you see, it's responding in a real-time mode. It took little time. The reason is because you guys are also hitting it. But as you see, it is preparing me a nice recipe for biryani. And it is also responding in markdown. As you see, this is bolded and these are bullets. This is all marked down. Anyone else tried? If you have tried, you could say like, what's the query you put and did it respond? Anyone else tried? Or if you not tried, try something, ask some simple question and see if it is responding. What, 26 people on the call. So if you guys are trialing, I'm feeling sleepy, what should I do? Drink a cup of coffee, wash your face. Yeah, it might give, I hope that's the question you asked the bot. It might have given you some crazy answer. But anyway. Okay. Yeah. I think if it is responding to your superfluous questions, then I think it is working, right? So if it is responding, let me know if did it respond or not, did it give any answer, and then if it is responding, that means that it's working and it is able to give you some answer, right? Well, this is not perfect, but this is your own little local model without any cost associated. You are able to work with it and get best of the best result. Now let me add one more flavor to it. Now what I'll say is this. Now what I'll say is now instead of having one model, I would like to give two models. So I do have a Llama 3.2 on my local, and I also have the Gemma model. Llama is the meta model, 3.2 model is the meta model. Gemma 3 is also open source model from Google. So I'll use both Meta's and Google's models, but I'll give it like a if condition. So I will ask the question and I will also select the model which will respond. And then based on that, one or the other model will respond, and I will pass that information to the Ollama chat. Depending upon what I'm selecting, the corresponding model will select. If I'm doing Llama as a selection, the Llama 3.2 1 billion parameter will be selected. If I'm doing Gemma, then the Gemma 3 model will be selected. Oh, let me run this. And I run the Grado interface. The only change here is that you will also have a drop down. In the drop down, you will have which model to select. And by default, it is defaulting to Gemma, but it will have an option to select Llama and Gemma. So I'll click on the local URL because both URLs are provided. The local URL I select. I'll ask like, what should I ask? Anything, maybe a stock market related. What do you, or else I'll ask, who are you? Who are you? So who are you is the question I'm asking to Llama first. Now Llama, because it's the first invocation, it will take some time, but once it is loaded, then it will work faster. So I'm asking Llama first. I'm asking, who are you? On the right side, you're seeing it is responding in a markdown. I'm an artificial intelligence model designed to provide information and answer questions to the best. Large language model trained on whatever. So it is giving all who are you? So it is telling that what it is that you're doing. I'll switch the model to Gemma and then ask the same question. Taking 4, 5, 6 seconds, and then it is saying, "Hi, I am Gemma, model created by Google DeepMind." It is introducing itself, and then it is saying that what is capable of doing. What is price to earning ratio and stock market? I'm asking Gemma first. So it's responding quickly. As you see, it's saying price to earning ratio is market price per share by the earning per share. That's what. So as you see, you saw the Gemma's output. It is also giving some links. So this is how Gemma is responding. Let me switch over the same question to Llama. Taking 6 seconds. Okay, first it is telling what is the formula, types of P/E ratios, interpretation. It is giving some examples. It is also giving some code snippet. I didn't ask code, but yeah, it's giving some code snippet. How to calculate P/E ratio. So this is going in one direction. The Gemma model is going in another direction, right? So here we have to observe that LLMs behave in different way. They're trained on different type of data. For the same question, they might behave in a different way. So it becomes our responsibility to see how we select the best model for your answer. All right. So with that, I think we spend around 50 minutes not able to see the screen. How come? Can someone else confirm if you are able to see my screen? Yes, I think. Yeah, okay. I think there is some on his side only. All right, now can I open up for questions so that I can answer some questions. So let me go to the first one. I will show you I'll summarize the course content so that you will understand how the course content would look like. Some of the questions which is like Python is mandatory, how much amount of Python do we need and all that stuff, I will answer. But let me quickly show the course content. I generally don't use a lot of presentations. Mostly my presentations will be using like this Blackboard or a blue board. So, and I write it like this. Sometimes my handwriting will be bad, but please bear with me. So this is the course content. So it will be a couple of modules. The first module is what we are doing right now, is the introduction to AI, machine learning, generative AI, and agentic AI. This is the space we will spend a couple of days because you need to demystify a lot of things. There is classical machine learning, there is generative AI models which are coming up, there's agentic AI which are coming up now, which are used in current industry. At the moment, people are using all these models. So we need to understand where is the industry going and which types of jobs are evolving. So it is very essential for us to understand all these terms. So we'll spend a few days on understanding the nuances of AI, ML. Today we are looking at a little bit about generative AI, very practical session. So you get like, if you spend like 1 hour, you should be able to get the maximum of that 1 hour. That is what my whole intent is. I don't want to bug you with a lot of theoretical concepts. We need to spend more time on what companies are requiring and what they are asking in the hiring rounds, what is the core business problem they are trying to solve, and what skills are required for solving that business problem. So mostly our course will focus on that. So we will spend some time on introductions of all these different terminologies. So we'll get our ground cleared. Then we will spend some time on Python for AI, because people might be asking that, do I need to learn Python? How much of Python I need to know? Is the entire course in Python? Is Python required for artificial intelligence? For all these questions, the answer is yes. Currently, Python is the de facto language for doing some of these AI related work. And that makes, because there are other languages as well. Initially, we started with R. There are also other enterprise languages like Java, JavaScript, and other things where we are also doing AI related work, but those are at a superficial level. When you are writing core coding, core applications, then we are going to use Python. And believe me, this is not very difficult. So we will spend a couple of weeks on Python for AI. We will understand what are the libraries which are required to learn Python way for AI, for running generative AI models, for running machine learning models, for running agentic AI models. We will need to know some information. We need to know about some libraries. Those will be learned during this section. It would require, so if you are already familiar with any other programming language, then you should be able to good enough to learn this. Now, while in this section, we will not be teaching what is a class, what is a variable, how do you define, how do you write object-oriented construct, and so on. So it is expected that you are aware about basic Python or any other programming language, right? So basic programming language is you are aware about, so that we can pick it up. So I'm not teaching how do you define variable, how do you define string and other things. So those all things are not covered in this course. Those are some prerequisites. And if you require, I will provide additional materials where you can spend additional time and you will be able to learn those skills. All right. Then once we're done with Python, we will enter the classical machine learning arena. Classical machine learning is the machine learning concepts which fall under AI, ML purview, where the classical machine learning models are already running in production. They are the one which are giving a lot of revenue to the companies, right? These are the models which are giving a lot of revenues to the company. While there is a lot of hoo-ha about generative AI, agentic AI, and so on, the value is not yet, we did not get the value yet. People are trying to build POCs, trying to build projects so that they can get the value out of the agentic AI and so on. But the ones which are running already in production, the classical machine learning models, which fall under supervised, unsupervised, classification, regression use cases, recommendation systems, and so on, those are all running in production right now. And we are going to learn that. We'll spend a couple of weeks understanding different types of machine learning systems, and they become the base for understanding the AI at a depth level. So that is this section. And once that is done, then we get into generative AI. Generative AI is all about using LLMs for doing a lot of things. You could create chatbots. You can create summarization systems. You can create other systems and so on. And then that is the thing we will discuss in the generative AI. After generative AI, we will cover the agentic AI. Agentic AI is where we are discussing about all the agentic AI toolings. We will cover both coding toolings and also no-code, low-code tools like n8n, Diffie, and so on, which will help us to understand both the spectrums. We are also experimenting on Anthropic Claude Code. We will see like how to build applications using Claude Code. All those things will be covered in the agentic AI space. Now, once we complete all those things, we can't leave the cloud and LLM ops. Cloud is where we will cover AWS, Azure, and GCP. In this section, we will cover like how do we deploy AI applications using using these clouds. Using AWS, we will cover AWS SageMaker and AWS Bedrock. In GCP, we have Vertex AI. In Azure, we have Azure AI Factory. We will cover these different tools so that people understand that how to deploy these AI models using one of these clouds. We will also understand the LLM ops. LLM ops is the mechanisms in which we deploy the agentic AI applications, and that would help us to deploy all those applications into production. So as you've seen in the first demo session itself, I want to make this entire course hands-on with live projects, right? I don't want to spend a lot of time on theory. You might see that there are many places where you will spend 6 months just learning the basics. And after 6 months, you will then start learning something real time. What we want to do, what I want to do is I want to make the course very, very hands-on, very, very real time, so that whatever we are learning, it's very relevant to the industry. And the industry is also changing at a rapid pace. So during the course also we will take detours. It's not like the steady curriculum. It's like, okay, I will learn alphabets in the start, then I will learn words, then I will learn sentences. That's more a traditional way of learning. But now we have to pull our success. We need to pick up the pace because the world is changing at a very rapid pace. So it is our responsibility to also pick up the pace. So the course will also maneuver very rapidly. A lot of real-time information will be coming in from here till 2 months from now. There might be some changes. So as and when you observe changes, you can also recommend me so that I can introduce them in the course. In my past many courses, what students have done is they are already working in some company, they're already working in some industry. They might be getting a lot of requirements, practical requirements. So they come up with those requirements in the course and we do projects on that. So it will help people. So we have done in the past year, we have done a lot of projects on automating the entire development life cycle, creating the entire test bed using LLMs, the upgrading of updating the acceptance criteria, user story creation, all those things, the traditional productivity suite, we have created projects on that. So that is what is the pace at which we will be going. So if at all in your companies, you're already working in your companies, if there is some project requirement, you could come with that, and that will help us to show that. All right, so there is a question that course content is different. Course content is not. Here I'm just listing out the major areas, but we will be covering the deep learning, natural language processing. That will be part of the classical machine learning. I just listed down the major portions. The curriculum is more depth. So each and every topic, for example, if you see machine learning, we will be covering supervised, we will be covering unsupervised, we will be covering deep learning, and then we'll also cover natural language processing. So all these things are subsets of the section, right? I just listed down the major sections, but we will not be missing anything. If you feel something like, okay, Sitaram, we want this new topic, which is not covered in the course, then you can let me know, right? And then we will detour. It is our course. Whatever we are doing here, we will spend the quality time so that we will get the best output of our time and effort, right? So that is the purpose. Let me see if there are any questions. Do you teach us how to write code using LLMs? We will be using LLMs. So today's session is one of that, where we have used the Llama 3.2 model, and we have used the Gemma 3 model. Those are the two LLMs we have used. Likewise, we will also learn coding with agents. We will build agents. We will build real-time agents. Those will be part of the course. So as you see on the right side, the course will be roughly around 2+ months. Every day we will spend 45 minutes for the course, and then 10 to 15 minutes we will spend for the question and answers, right? So I'll curate in such a way that I spend like 45 minutes for the core content, and then we'll spend like 10 to 15 minutes for any questions you might have. The course will be 7 a.m. IST. I am in India. I am in Hyderabad. So my timing is morning 7 o'clock IST. You can then, if you are in other part of the world, you can adjust the timing accordingly, the time zone. So if you are in Eastern time zone, you can accordingly adjust. That would be the time. Probably you are 8:30 or 9:30. I'm not quite sure, but that would be your time. If you are in EST, can somebody convert that time 7 a.m. to the corresponding time and let me know what that EST time will be? That would be the time. Okay, 9:30. Yeah, 9:30 will be the time. 9:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. will be the course. Now the course will have 10+ live projects. Everything will be practical only, but these will be the projects we'll be doing. Minimum 10+ projects we'll be doing. Those projects will be on agentic AI, generative AI, and classical machine learning. So those will be the projects. How much of the course is actually generative AI? So you could think like 3/4 will be on generative AI, agentic AI, and 1/4 will be on classical machine learning. So we are focusing more on generative AI and agentic AI and the associated cloud and LLM deployments. 1/4 will be on classical machine learning. So there's a question that, is there any certification for the topic? There are certification for cloud. For example, in GCP, we have something called as Generative AI Leader, Generative AI Machine Learning Specialist. So those are the certificates. After you complete this course, you can try that. But what I generally believe is we need more practical knowledge than having any certificates. Certificates you can clear just by learning some question and answers without knowing anything about the practical usage. So I would recommend my students to be more hands-on, more practical oriented, project oriented. They need to have at least 5 to 10 projects under their belt, so that whenever they face interviews, they'll be able to explain that in a much more confident manner. So that's my view of taking. So are we covering orchestration as well? Yes, we would cover agent orchestration, model orchestration will be covered during the course. So future job roles, I will be covering few more demos. So please come to the next demo, where I'll be talk about different roles which we are going to use, which we are going to see in the space of AI and ML, how those roles are evolving. If at all I am from a data background, if at all I am from a front-end background, if at all I am from a QA background, how I should navigate through the space and spectrum of AI. Those all things we are going to cover in the next session, because the demos I can go and do it for 2 to 3 hours, but that doesn't help you. So it's already so late for you. So I want to cover in the next session, right? So please come to the next demos also. And as you see the message, it is going to start from Tuesday, which is the 7th of April. I hope the message is somewhere buried. The classes will start from Tuesday, 7th April IST, which will be your Monday night. That's when the classes are going to start with. For the price of the course, please contact the organizers. They will be able to let you know the price of the course. So what is the experience level I can work after this course? Since I already have 2 years experience, you could work like a 2 to 4 years experience. That is the experience range you can work on. When is the next demo? The classes will start from 7th April, 7 a.m. IST. That will be the next session, and you can attend that session. You can attend 1 or 2 sessions to see how the course is moving. I'll give more clarity as in when we go deeper. So you can attend 1 or 2 more sessions to understand the way. All right. Did I miss any questions? Please tell me the job market trend. Yes, that will be I'll telling on the next session. So please attend the next session because I'll talk about job market trend, future job options, how to switch between job roles and other things. So there's another question that what are the different AI engines that will be covered during the course? AI engines, I mean to say, I think you're talking about agents. We will be talking about different agents. Again, I'll cover one session on agentic AI. There I will go in great detail. But if I miss anything, you could point me. This is our course. We will be going hand in hand with students, and it will make more interactive session. If I miss any class, all the sessions will be recorded, and you will be provided a drive where all the sessions will be uploaded. Every day there will be course material will be there. Sessions and data sets and all that stuff will be uploaded in the drive so that you could use that and practice. If you may miss any session, don't worry, you could get the recording. It will generally take a half day. For example, today the session is done. By tomorrow, your time, the recording will be available. So the question on Azure Cloud, as you see, we will be covering 3 clouds. Again, here the scope of cloud is like just to understand like how do you run the AI on the cloud. That is what we are going to cover. And pretty much while the names are different, the cloud services would be same. So we will be covering AWS, Azure, and GCP. So that would be the scope of the models. We can curate the course content as and when required. We can understand that here again, Azure, we will not be covering what is Azure, how do you spin virtual machines on Azure, how is the storage layers of Azure, the virtual private cloud and all that stuff. So those are all Azure cloud related things, right? The Azure development, Azure solution architect level ones. We will be covering the Azure AI specific toolings. Got it? All right, we have spent 1 hour 1 hour 10 minutes now. Okay. I hope this is a very value-packed session. If you feel yes, you got some value out of it, please let me know. You can give a yes. I understood today's session. We went into the different pieces of it. Right. So, and this is a different way of dealing with the session. You might have gone through different demos where you're talking about what is generative AI, what is the history of generative AI, and so on. While that is good, we will also cover that. But the more essential is we get more hands-on. And sometimes it might overwhelm also, but please be prepared to be overwhelmed. And I'm requesting everyone that please be prepared to be overwhelmed, because it is the need of the hour, right? We might not know Python, we might not know some coding, we might not have an understanding of some ways of doing things. That is good because it will give us the awareness. We need to go into that direction in a much faster manner. That is the reason I'm requesting that please be uh, prepared to be overwhelmed. Please give this 2 months of your time. I'm sure you might be busy with a lot of other things, personal life, professional life, office, and other things. I understand that, but because you have taken the step towards learning something, uh, give that quality time, and I'm sure that if you are able to spend 5 hours a week for our course and 2 hours additional for preparation, you will be able, you will be a different person in 2 months, right? You will know a lot of things, you will understand a lot of things, you will speak a different language, right? You might be of different experience level. You might be a fresher, you might be already 15, 20 years experience. My students are varied. Okay, they have different experience ranges, but whichever experience range you are, you will be a different person after 2 months. And that I can guarantee. So all these things you heard, and now you can ask like, Sitaram, what's your qualification? How do you think that you will be able to, you will be the right person to give the course and all? So I lead a big machine learning team in a large banking corporation. I have a full-time job. I'm not a trainer who will just train people. Training is my passion. I keep because for many years I've been teaching, and the teaching is something which I like so much. The reason is that it will help me to learn things much quicker. When you are in a state to explain concepts to other people, you will get much stronger in your own shoes. So that's my personal reason. I have completed my MTech from BITS Pilani, and I'm pursuing my double PhD, one from IIIT Hyderabad. I'm doing a PhD from IIIT Hyderabad. And the second one is a doctorate in business administration from Rushford Business School. And both of them are helping me to go into the next level of my career. I am an industry speaker. I also give a lot of sessions, thought leader sessions and industry leader AI sessions and so on. And I also participate in a lot of conference and academia and industry relations. That's a brief about me. You will learn more things about me as and when you go deeper into the course. But yeah, that's the brief about me. We provide mock interviews and resume support. At the end of the course, we will help you in curating the resume, because that is a one-on-one service, because it's not group thing. So once you complete the course, I assist people on curating the resumes. There will be one-on-one sessions where I can help them to tweak their experience, put relevant projects, and then tackle the interviews, right? Those things will be done after the course. All right, any other questions? I thank you very much. I see that 20 people are still there. It's really great because it's already close to midnight, your time. I know that it's very tough for listening to somebody on the other side of the continent, but I thank you with the bottom of my heart that you are listening to me till now. And it's great. So if you have any further questions, I will spend quality time in the next demos. There's a question on switching jobs into roles and so on. That is a topic which I'm covering in the next session. Okay. I'll talk about not only the data engineer, but I also talk about QA engineer, front-end engineer, how they can switch jobs and what are the different routes they need to take so that they get into AI comfortably. All right, wonderful. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you on Tuesday, my time, 7 o'clock in the morning, which will be your Monday night, 9:30 p.m. if you are in Eastern time zone.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.